What makes a game a masterpiece? I think to be a masterpiece, being polished is more important than being innovative. For a game, it has to age well and have a timeless feel to it. I have a hard time considering a game a masterpiece if I have to take the context into account, to be honest. But for a game to be called a masterpiece, we have to put a lot of factors into consideration, like gameplay mechanics, audio, controls, visuals, must be solid, otherwise it'll bring down the overall quality of the game. Now, let's take a look at Elden Ring. Elden Ring is what I would consider a modern day masterpiece, having mastered the art of showing without telling. From the get-go, Elden Ring doesn't impose any particular playstyle or route on you. You are completely free to do what you want to from the very start of the game. You can finish the main storyline and beat the final boss, or you can explore the entire map without ever seeing the main bosses. It truly is up to you with no outside influence. It's hard to place my finger on one specific thing that makes the game so enjoyable. Many times I've gone in to play this game for half an hour only to become immersed, losing track of time and playing for hours on end. I believe that it's each of the game's features, its combat system, transportation, landscape, lore, storytelling, that complement each other in a way that none of them are overbearing and at the same time come together in such a fluid manner that as the player I can't notice it and I'm drawn into a level of immersion that I haven't felt from any game before. Dead Cells is another game I would consider to be a masterpiece. Everything about this game is pristine, smooth on all fronts, and simplistic in all the right ways. I'm extremely picky when it comes to side-scrolling games, having really only truly enjoyed Cuphead and Mario. Before playing this, so I wasn't sure how I would feel, and I was addicted immediately from the start. The gameplay style is addictive. Dead Cells is even more addictive than most roguelikes due to its gameplay mechanics. Dead Cells offers a wide variety of gameplay mechanics and options. If you want to take a more tactical approach, you can do so with ranged weapons. As well, if you want to smash your way through enemies, you can also get away with it by wielding one of the multitudes of melee weapons at your disposal. The element of variation keeps you entertained as combat always feels fresh and rewarding. Aside from its excellent gameplay loop, its visuals and sound design are equally great as well. The game sports a colorful pixel art style and every new stage in the game has its personality. Combat shines with fluid animations and the gory action is stunningly painted within every pixelated design. As for the story, it takes the Dark Souls approach in needing to examine locations in the world to better understand the background of what's happening. Not the great story out there, but that also doesn't take away from how fun the game is. If you haven't tried it, I would greatly, strongly actually recommend you actually do play it. Ah yes, Firewatch. Firewatch is what I like to call an emotional masterpiece. It takes storytelling to a new and deeper level. What appears to be a simple tale of two young lovers turns into a wild adventure where Henry, you uncover mysteries that lead to a much darker and disheartening truth. How I see it, Firewatch isn't a game, and I wasn't in control of it. Yes, I played and made choices of Henry, but I'm not Henry. Henry is Henry. He is his own person with his own ideas in mind. That's what makes this game so unique, and in a very good way. It all starts with an introduction to the main character, who is and how he ended up here. Who he is and how he ended up here. This is where the game shows one of its core strengths, solid and very focused writing. My entire mood was changed drastically by what's basically an interactive slideshow. Another great thing is how organically you introduce two mechanics. The game doesn't use tacky tutorials or arrows and circles to get a point across. You just get it. You quickly get used to the flow of things and start exploring the world around you through the small tasks you're given. It's easy to dismiss Firewatch as a walking simulator because it's a big chunk of the gameplay, but it's so much more than that. The overwhelmingly gorgeous scenery aside, there's such a joy in doing little things. It almost leads you to believe that this is all there is to it. You begin to relax, but then it hits you. From the moment you get there, there's always this underlying feeling that something's wrong. It doesn't take long for that to be true. The way this game builds a suspenseful and thrilling atmosphere using music and changes in the world around you. Pair this beautiful story with two wonderfully voiced characters and you have a recipe for maximum empathy. I felt Henry's regret, his fear, his relief. Every choice I, as the player, made also felt morally weighted. It was easy to relate with Henry as I chose his every response to Delilah throughout the entire experience. Well, feel what Henry feels, I guess. You get really attached to Delilah, especially because your own wife does not even recognize you anymore. You and Delilah are having fun, comfort each other, and flirt depending on your choices though. She opens up to you, you open up to her, and you're both in a horrible situation where you're scared. If something causes attachment, it is living through stressful situations together. In the end, you finally are going to meet her and she is gone sadly. You feel sad and or betrayed. Couldn't she wait like 1 minute? It feels like an immense loss and you get thrown back to reality. You have to go back either to Julia or to your own home where you ran away from and deal with what happened now too. In my story, Delilah said she had to go to Casper, but she could visit you on her way to other places. Although will she? I had the feeling she would not eventually. You have lost the person you felt so close to. I felt she was more important to me than I was to her in the end. Even though it all did hurt so much, I'm happy about this ending. It would not have made such an impact if Delilah was there for us to meet. Now, I know the ending for Firewatch is a very controversial topic, but I thought that it really spoke to Henry's search for an answer, a reason to get away from it all amidst the harsh reality that he really can't. Everyone in that story is running or hiding from something. They all have their issues and they're trying desperately to pretend that they can just escape it. While the ending tugs all of that away from you, completely dissolves the grand conspiracy they thought they were a part of and drops them back down to earth with the sudden realization that they're not special and just like everyone else, they can't just hide from what's troubling them. At first I was angry at the game for having a disappointing ending, but then I realized a game ending made me angry. That's when I knew that Firewatch truly was a masterpiece. It's not just about the gameplay, it's not about the controls, but it was the way the story unfolded in front of my eyes. I couldn't believe what just had happened. I was mad about Delilah. Why didn't she wait? Up until now, it's a question I always ask myself. Why couldn't she wait? But maybe it made more sense that she wasn't actually there. That's something I have to say. I don't know what you think, but for me, it actually does make sense she wasn't there. It makes the story more compelling, more attractive. If she was there, it would have been way more different. It wouldn't have the same impact it had if she wasn't there. So, did I answer my question? Well, I'd say it's a yes and no type of answer. To really call a game a masterpiece, we have to consider a lot of things. But what really makes a game stand out for me is the story. I want a game I can remember when I'm sitting outside drinking a cup of coffee and a character just pops in my head and like, damn, he really didn't deserve to die. Or maybe something like, oh, maybe he didn't deserve to get hit by a truck or something. But I think a great story is what makes a game really great. That's all I have. I'm ending it there. That's it. Video's done. You can now leave. Bye, I guess.